I live with bipolar, and I was diagnosed with bipolar at 19, depression at 15. And what really got me interested in it is, as I was trying to navigate the system, I really saw the injustice that was going on. I saw that people weren't getting services, that I, a middle-class white girl, was getting a bed, and the homeless man in the hallway was having to stay the night on a gurney, and I just couldn't stand for it anymore. I needed to make a change in my community, and it led me to write my book, Perfect Chaos, and become a national speaker talking about stigma and about, what changes need to be made, to make sure that everyone gets services, and to really make sure that stigma is not keeping people from services, which it's great we've talked about this at this conference, is stigma being such a barrier to services for so many people. I remember being in the ER the first time I was ever in a psychiatric ER, and I was 19 and terrified and extremely suicidal, and all I could remember is just begging my parents to take me home and let this man in the hallway have my bed, because I was going to be sent to the University Medical Center and he wasn't going to have a bed. And I was like, Mom and Dad, you are well educated, you work in the field, why, please take me home, give this man my bed. It broke my heart. It makes me all teary thinking about it still. Even having a family who knew the system, quote, knew the system, we struggled with insurance, we struggled with everything. Hearing Secretary Sebelius yesterday talk about how she knows the system, and yet she was still struggling for her family, we need to really focus on that if we, people of, upper class or upper middle class, if we can't figure it out, well educated, think about the single mom who's an immigrant who is working a 40-hour-a-week job and her son is psychotic. I mean, how are we going to get services for them? And I think it's time for us to step up as a community and really take care of everyone, because it's heartbreaking. The system is just not able to support everyone. There's not enough beds. I'm from Washington State, where we have what's called boarding, where there's just not enough beds and people just have to stay in psychiatric ERs. I think that one of the things that I find is stigma is that now there are becoming more services, but we're not teaching people about them. We're not letting people know about them, and also the stigma is so high that people are afraid to seek services. So if we could have some kind of program, national program, local program, where people, for me, a huge impact was realizing someone like Patrick Kennedy, who lives with the same illness I live, and he does amazing things like this. If he can do it, then anyone can. And I feel like that's such a good way of fighting stigma, is realizing that people can live productive lives. People are able to accomplish things with these illnesses if we get services. And I think so if there's a better way to fight the stigma so people will be more willing to get services, and just to have more services available in the first place, more beds, things like that. I am still young and trying to just grasp, where do we go from here? What next steps need to be taken so that equality and discrimination isn't happening? And it really is a civil rights issue that I think it's so nice to hear Patrick say, that it's the next civil rights issue we need to be focusing on. I think not only mental illness, but disability rights in general.